Hello, my name is Patrick Genyn. I'm a partner in FHIR for Pharma, where together with Andy Richardson, we work at the intersection between clinical care and clinical research to deliver the best high-quality health care outcomes. There is currently increasing interest throughout the clinical trial and real-world evidence sectors in adding direct data capture from electronic health record systems to the traditional approach of capturing data using an electronic CRF. In our recent paper, Clinical Trial Schedule of Activities Specification using FHIR definitional resources, published in Medical Informatics, we describe a generalized but powerful graph-based methodology to represent and manage schedule of activities, or SoAs for short, together with a FHIR representation that enables full study details to be communicated to and from EHRs. This approach brings the benefits of early access to research data, increased accuracy as manual transcription is not required anymore, and consistency in interpretation of the clinical research protocol. In the first section of our paper, we show how graph methods can be used to represent and define the real scenarios that research patients undergo. Like, for instance, they miss a visit, or they have a visit outside the planned window of the visit. They show up unexpectedly. Tasks are not needed based on pre-existing conditions, or extra activities need to be undertaken or even repeated. A patient fails inclusion or exclusion criteria at the start of the study or later in the study. In oncology, a patient requires multiple cycles of treatment. A patient withdraws consent, or a patient is lost to follow-up. These are all examples in different paths for a patient to go through a study. A table structure used in the clinical trial protocol doesn't really account or even allow for these different paths. However, using graph methods, the resulting graph representation provides the key starting point for creating many required logistical and functional operational elements that will account for all the potential paths of a patient through a study. The second part of the paper represents a FHIR-based methodology using the FHIR PlanDefinition resource, with two specific extensions that are used to fully represent the SoA graphs, with all the flexibilities that are required. One extension is needed for accurate SoA time point specification. Example is, for instance, what is the time point of visit 2 in the schedule of activities, and how does it relate to other visits? The second extension is needed for accurate SoA transition specification. Example, within visit 2, what are the potential next steps for a patient after visit 2? The PlanDefinition resource uses these two extensions to fully describe the SoA with all its required flexibilities to represent the paths of a patient through the study. The resulting FHIR-compliant bundles can be accepted and read by any appropriately configured FHIR server, and using a proof of concept approach, we show that both simple and complex study schedules can be accurately and efficiently transferred using these methods. The need for accurate, confirmed, and tested digital methodologies is essential to the success of future clinical study operations, especially now because clinical trials continue to move towards an even more complex healthcare environment. Clinical trials need to accommodate for issues such as use of real-world data, direct EHR to EDC integration, adaptive study designs, basket, umbrella, or platform study designs, automated visit guidance, patient-centric workflows, multiple data sources, and so on. As a result, the number of stakeholders involved in clinical trials is also increasing with these additional complexities. That's why we chose the Journal of Medical Internet Research to publish our paper, because we believe we can reach many of the stakeholders in clinical trials. And we will be pleased to enter into correspondence with anyone interested via the emails in the paper. Thank you for your attention.